Remember when TV commercials didn't have an agenda? They were just commercials to tell you about how awesome their products were to make you want to buy them? Well, yesterday I saw a commercial that just completely blew my mind. Stick around, let's talk about it.
All I need are some tasty waves, cool buzz, and I'm fine.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am Rad, back with another video. And as I said in the intro, yesterday we went to see Fantastic Four movie. Not necessarily because I'm into Marvel movies, but I like the retro vibe that they did. The whole '60s vibe with the movie, and is actually a pretty good movie. And but now in movies they show commercials and then show previews. So we saw this commercial that they played before the movie that just kind of like knocked my socks off, to where I literally leaned over to my wife and said, I'm actually hungry for that. See, because growing up the way that we did, and even up until most recently, so it's not like this is a Gen X only thing, commercials used to sell you on their product, the features, advantages, and benefits of what makes that product good and why you should buy it. Then, some time ago, within the last 10 years, people begin to feel that they needed to insert agendas into the commercials. They have a checklist. I'm not going to name those, but most of you know what those are, that each commercial has to hit one of those items, and all of them, not one of them, but all of them kind of have to fit into a commercial. Now in 2025, it's actually obvious of how obvious it is when they put that in the commercials. And I think we all remember that extremely horrible Jaguar commercial that came, earlier this year, I think, to where I don't even think they showed a car in the commercial. Very colorful, right? But nothing to do with a Jaguar. And they had a lot of backlash for it. They really did. And then, the whole Bud Light thing, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, that severely hurt their stock because people were just, tired of certain agendas. This isn't a video about who should be in the video or who the actor should be or what they should be or what they should represent. But if I want to buy a beer, right, I want to buy a beer because you're going to sell me on why it's good over and above the other beers.
There you go. That's the attitude. You can sell anything. Sell me this fucking pen right here. You can sell anything. Sell that. Go ahead.
Then even like the Gillette commercial from several years ago, where they have a guy that stops another guy from what you call catcalling, and he didn't even do that. He just complimented the looks of a woman, and that backfired on Gillette as well. So when I saw this commercial again, it just completely blew my mind, because a lot of us Gen Xers and boomers, we know the history of this particular company. And it was refreshing to see. So without further ado, I don't know if I'm going to get copyrighted showing this. I would think that I am advertising their ad and saying good job. So let's watch it, and you let me know what you think.
Story goes that after searching for years, it was a fever dream and a chicken that finally led Colonel Sanders to the 11th herb and spice. He knew his chicken would be famous if he could perfect frying it in hot oil under intense pressure, which is as dangerous as it sounds. No, it wasn't. But the man was stubborn.
I really thought it would explode.
And soon he was serving his chicken around the country.
Congratulations, Colonel. Well done.
If anyone tried to copy his recipe,
You cannot trademark flavor.
he served them his fist. And if the gravy wasn't made to his standard, he fought that too.
I'll get the mop.
Sure, this may all seem a little obsessive, But the Colonel lived, so we could chicken.
Okay, so you've seen that and you heard that. So what do you think? Drop a comment below and let me know. But let's just talk about it for a few minutes. So I think at least my age people, maybe millennials, know a little bit of the history of KFC, but we kind of growing up the way that we did, we knew the history or we learned the history. However, how KFC came about and how Colonel Sanders, I've read it in business books and stuff like that too, of how he was just relentless. He had this, this obsession with perfecting this recipe. And maybe some people don't realize that it was just the recipe along with the pressure cooker that he would go around and try to sell to restaurants, hamburger restaurants, just cafes, diners, whatever, to buy the package of his 11 secret herbs and spices and his special pressure cooker. Because you think about it, I do canning, right? I can things, and I've heard horror stories of pressure cookers blowing up, which is why I use a digital one. I'm too big of a wuss to try it the old school method. So when you're putting oil under pressure like that, you can kind of see what happened. But he was relentless in it, and then of course went on to become Kentucky Fried Chicken. And I'm not going to say I think it was a great commercial. I haven't eaten at KFC in a while. It's been a hot minute. But several years ago, even when I was eating there, the quality had started to go down. So maybe, it's 2025 and, you get what you pay for, so to speak. Well, not even that. Some of these people are paying pretty good money and you just get really crappy employees that don't do their job. But it seems to be like that in fast food. I started out in fast food as a 16-year-old at McDonald's, and you shouldn't be complaining too much about pay if you're a 16-year-old. If you're a 40-year-old, maybe you shouldn't be working at a fast food restaurant. I know there's certain circumstances that cause you to do that, but anyway, I digress. But my point is that this commercial, right, went and showed you the history to a lot of these younger people that probably don't know. I mean, I think Pepsi owns KFC and also Taco Bell. Taco Bell's commercials are pretty cool, but maybe if Taco Bell goes back to the history of how the guy started selling tacos to surfers and stuff like that, a pretty cool story, right? So telling the story of perseverance and persistence in order to get something, and then of course with the memory of the way KFC tastes, and of course their gravy, right? Just really, made me like, wow, that is an awesome commercial. And I think commercials should get back to that. I saw a Velveeta shells and cheese commercial, and I can't find it online. They didn't post it. And it's just, if I didn't know what Velveeta shells and cheese were, then the commercial wasn't explained. It showed it a little bit, but it was more focused on an age group and a genre of people. It had some mumble rap type music in the background while they were showing Velveeta cheese being squirted over pasta. I don't know. It's like, what are you trying to do? It's kind of like that Jaguar commercial. Like, did you even talk about your car? So I think manufacturers and companies that make products should get back to explaining, as we call it fab in my industry, the features, advantages, and benefits of why you should buy my product. And there's a lot of competition, generationally. I don't even hear Roth, who's 16 in a couple weeks, ever talk about KFC. He talks about Canes, right? And all the time. I got me some Canes. I got me some Canes. So for his generation, I think I've eaten it before. It's good, but I just don't eat fast food that much, right? So I'm sure there's their own super fans, right? Just kind of like Starbucks is great, but I like going to Dutch Bros, and I like the whole vibe of the people that work there. Younger crowd, they seem fun, but he's really into Canes, and so I don't know who this commercial was made for. If they're trying to speak to, once again, the nostalgia of it for us to come in, but then also try to get younger people to be like, oh man, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. I think it's a brilliant campaign. You know, just like the Dos Equis man of the world, or whatever they called him, the most interesting man in the world, right? Just sometimes people nail it, and I think it was a great commercial. And I like to give credit where credit is due. Good job, KFC. Still probably won't go eat any chicken anytime soon. I might on my cheat day, and yeah, so I just might. But anyway, with that said, drop some comments below. What did you think about the commercial? What about some other companies that you know of that seem to do great advertising about their product and why it's good for you? Let me know in the comment section below. And with that said, if you appreciate this type of content, please consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribing to the channel. It really does help with that YouTube algorithm. And with that said, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you on the next video.